You are watching Travel World Online.
Gujarat Travel Association meet Tourism Minister for government support. Tourism Minister launched Chat, a new association to help hospitality with tech. Hopes rise for vaccinated travelers in Europe, but global restart still stalled. Yashwant Kumar IAS has been appointed as MD of Chhattisgarh Tourism Board. Bedaghat and Satpura Tiger Reserve in MP recognized in UNESCO's tentative list of World Heritage Sites. Russia is open for tourists. Resumes flights with 8 countries. Iconic Tel Aviv Pride Parade returns on June 25, first mass event post-COVID. Uzbekistan Airways appoints Aeroprime as passenger sales agent (PSA) for India. Recently formed Tours and Travel Agents Association of Telangana requested Minister of Tourism for revival package. Tourism down 83% but confidence slowly rising. The Uttarakhand cabinet approved 29 crore rupees as compensation for pandemic hit tourism.
Namaskar, my name is Shweta Aryavarma and now the news in detail. Gujarat Travel Agents and Tour Operators Association met State Tourism Minister Shri Jawahar Bhai Chabra for survival and revival of tourism in the state. All associations have demanded waiver of property tax, waiver of fixed charges in the electricity bill, and interest waiver/relaxation on working capital, waiver of RTO and other vehicle tax and refund. Minister has assured to look favorably for their demands. Representative of the association like TAI, TAFI, IATO, ADTOI, TAG, GTAA were present in the meeting. Airbnb, Ease My Trip, Oyo and Yatra have formed a new industry association called CHAT, which is CHATT, which will help small companies in digital transformation. CHAT's formation is a landmark decision to boost India's robust domestic tourism market and support small hotel partners, homeowners, agents to expand their offerings catering to the needs of tourists, said Prahlad Singh Patel, Minister of Tourism and Culture. Spain and France opened their borders for vaccinated travelers. Commenting on the opening of border, Willie Walsh, IATA Director General, said, "It's encouraging to see more European countries taking steps to reopen borders. They recognize the opportunity created by vaccination and are making travel more affordable with the use of antigen testing." But this approach is not universal across the continent. People, businesses, and economies would all benefit from greater alignment across Europe in relaxing measures and restoring the freedom to travel. A proud moment for India as the beautiful state Madhya Pradesh has got its 2 more destinations, namely Bedaghat and Satpura Tiger Reserve, recognized in UNESCO's tentative list of World Heritage Sites. Jharkhand, the existing lockdown, which extended this morning, has been further extended for a period of 1 week till 17th June, following certain relaxation in Unlock 2 guidelines issued by state government. Mr. Yashwant Kumar, IAS, presently Collector, Janjgir, Champa, has been posted as Director of Agriculture, with additional charge as Managing Director, Chhattisgarh Tourism Board.
Russia is open to tourists from 36 countries, but all visitors need to bring proof of a negative COVID-19 test result or a medical certificate for COVID-19 antibodies. The Russian government has temporarily suspended flights to the UK, Tanzania, and Turkey until June 21, 2021 and enforced new restrictions for travelers coming from India. Visitors are advised to check with local authorities for current restrictions. The Uttarakhand cabinet approved 29 crore rupees as compensation for pandemic hit tourism industry. A total of 352 registered tour operators would be given 10,000 rupees each, and 303 adventure tour operators would be given financial assistance of 10,000 rupees each. The state government will also waive off the interest from April 1 to the 30th of September to people who have taken loan for homestays under Veer Chandra Singh Gadwali Yojana. The Tel Aviv Pride Parade will be one of the first mass parades worldwide to return in a physical, in-person format, courtesy of Israel's high vaccination rates and lifting of restrictions following the country's emergence from the pandemic. The Pride celebrations in Tel Aviv have attracted hundreds of thousands of visitors and Israelis who join in the citywide festivities every year. The 2019 Tel Aviv Pride Parade was attended by over 250,000, making it one of the leading events on the global LGBTQ calendar and the largest event of its kind in the Middle East. Recently formed Tours and Travel Agents Association of Telangana (TTAT) requested Minister of Tourism for revival package. The founder president is R.V. Ramana of R.V. Tours and Travels and General Secretary K. Srinivas Rao. Travel Inc. with other committee members met the Minister of Tourism Government of Telangana, Shri Srinivas Gowd, and hand over the detailed request letter for support for the revival of the travel industry.
Today we have young, dashing entrepreneur from India, Mr. Ankush Nijhawan. Mr. Nijhawan also shares a passion for cricket. Welcome, Ankush, on Travel World Online. So, how was this Corona period for TBO?
I think COVID was a good year in that way that we could go back and reboot ourselves. As we say, it's an overhauling of the engine. And I think the team got closer to each other. We went through this. Fortunately, we didn't lose any people in jobs. We made sure everybody's still there. We had some salary cuts in April, but we were the first company in 1st December 2020 that we rolled back 100% salaries. And I think we are the only company still in the country which is still holding 100% and not firing any employee yet. And I don't think that worst is over. We were also profitable, and I must say, and I'm very happy that since 1st August till about 31st March, we picked up a lot of momentum in the domestic business, domestic airline business, and in Dubai and Maldives. So yes, we closed the book in plus 31st March closing. Obviously, very minuscule of the profit what we had created pre-COVID. But yes, as long as you break even, you make money. I think the worst is over, and I think it's a matter of another few months. I think we should be settling down, and I can assure you, TBO will be a larger company than ever before in terms of size, and our global markets, our new products which have already have started showing early results, and I'm sure it'll only get bigger and stronger from here on.
You have recently opened one more office in Mumbai. What are the plans?
Bombay, we're expanding a lot in many other ways into our marine business, into the cargo business. We are further doubling talent and people in Bombay. Therefore, we needed a bigger office. So our two offices in Nariman Point continue, but we needed a bigger space. So therefore, we decided to shift to the other part of Mumbai, which is in Delhi, so that we can cater the market better. Our staff is happier because they work closer from home. And obviously, we needed a larger office because for us, Mumbai remains our number 2 market after Delhi. And I'm happy that we took this place early this year, and obviously moving in once the lockdown settles in Maharashtra.
Your group company, Island Hopper, took over the number 2 company, Gemini Tours. In this crucial time when many travel companies have shuttered, what is the strategy behind opening or taking over Gemini Tours?
We had bought Island Hopper a few months back, in 2019. The plan was basically to build the business for the islands, which was basically from Mauritius, Seychelles and Maldives, because TBO had a policy build versus buy. To explain you, buy means that obviously you will buy, but build is something that you have to weigh the option that if I had to build the size of an Island Hopper, what it was, does it take, how much money does it require, is the speed to the market? It would probably have taken us 2 years to build that level. So the option was that we thought it is better that we buy so that we can hit the market faster, we can have the right contracts, the right supply for the islands. And I'm very glad to say that when we acquired it in 2019 and closing year 31st March 2021, the business has 4 times increased for Island Hopper, and the market share is a little more than 20% for outbound travel from India into Maldives. So while that was happening, to further consolidate the supply as well as the demand, is where we thought of further buying the number 2 player in the market, which is Gemini. And I'm very, very happy that this transaction happened. We had started the process in October. We concluded it in June, just May end basically. And I'm happy that Mr. Subram and Raji are great founders. They built a great company. And I'm very proud to say that it was a pleasure to have them on board. And now the number 1 has bought the number 2. And I think our market share is obviously almost going to be a little more than 40% in my opinion, going forward to build the islands. We will give our technology, we'll give our distribution, and further strengthen Gemini in terms of capital, in terms of tech, in terms of distribution. I think the manpower what we have is going to really help building this brand more. And with Mr. Expertise of Mr. Subram and Raji, I think it's only going to help us building the business for the islands as the market opens up post once COVID settles down. Yeah.
How your cargo business is doing for you?
3 days. So May budget has met. We are now profitable in the month of May. We started from Delhi in October. First 6 months, teething problems, learning business, team settling down. We have opened now our Mumbai cargo setup starting 1st June. Very soon we'll move into Chennai and Ahmedabad in July as well. But I think now we are, as we see, the car has moved to gear 1. But as we say, long way to go. A business which I'm very, very confident will definitely give us great results in terms of bottom line and revenues. And I'm sure we would like to be amongst the top 3 cargo players in 3 to 5 years from now.
All this is very exciting and motivational for travel trade. Thank you for sharing your thoughts. They're positive and they're full of hope. What are your future plans?
Plan is to obviously further deep dive in what we have built, master the markets which he already masters at, further increase our share in terms of hotels and air, and our new businesses such as Paxes, Zamzam, TBO Marine, TBO Cargo will definitely settle on this year and will at least make a mark in the market and then build it from there on. Some talents have hired, especially in Mumbai. The integration of Gemini will happen into Island Hopper. So as we always believe, TBO always keeps thinking, always keeps doing, and I'm sure we'll continue the same.
According to you, how important is technology to be competitive in today's world?
I think tech will further play a more role, because I think work from home, especially during the pandemic, has made people get used to the tech more, be it working way or be it the way they transact. It will help in building operating leverages, cutting cost. And I think TBO is a great example of building size and scale was because of tech, and I can't be employing 10,000 people in India. I think I've got a very lean company, not employing more than 550 people running this business. It's all because of tech, and in globally, almost operating 120 countries in the world. So I think tech is not an enabler, it's a necessity now. Yeah.
How do you see the acquisitions and mergers as a strategy at this point of time?
Depends. I mean, if you get the right partner, if you think you don't own something and you want to own a market or own a product, definitely an acquisition is an opportunity. As I said, build versus buy. I think time is a big matter. If you can hit a market now, we do it now, or wait and build for 3 years, you might be too late. So I think it is a great opportunity depending at the right price, and I think post-COVID, there are some great companies or good companies who will be willing to look at mergers and acquisition at the right price. I think before that, the valuations, etc., were much more than probably a company deserves. But now I think that correction has happened, and I think there's immense companies available in the world now for acquisition and mergers, and obviously some great talent which I think is available in India as well as overseas. Hang on, I think 1 year has passed by. I know it's been very tough for everybody. I mean, it's not that somebody was happy and somebody won't. I think everybody, the worst industries was the travel business. But I can assure you that once it settles down, whether it is 3 months or 6 months, I think the best years travel industries ever witnessed would be post-COVID. Now, whether it's 2022 or whether it is late starting 21, that only time will tell. But I think for the next 5 years, once COVID settles down, it's probably going to be the best 5 years the industry has ever seen because of revenge travel, hunger. People are crazy sitting at home. I think it's just going to outburst. I think there will be so much demand that one will not be able to cater to. And I hope it comes true.
Thank you for taking out time, Mr. Ankush Javan. Congratulations.
During HHC annual summit titled Bounce Back, Ratan Keshwani, Deputy Managing Director Lemon Tree Hotel, Himmat Anand, Founder Tree of Life Resort, Grish Bindra, Vice President The Surya spoke on the topic, where are the green shoots? And what are the emerging opportunities, they said.
I wish forecasting would be possible with what we've gone through and the uncertainty of what I see forward. And Himmat will join me. We've been on a couple of panels speaking about the same thing. Only some astrologer or soothsayer could probably predict something for us. Having said that, there are just 2 parts that I'd like to say. If we could get the vaccination part a little bit into shape, I think things will start to improve, both where it concerns our customers, and particularly I would recommend that for all team members, because the moment the customer feels that your property, whether it's a restaurant or a hotel, has vaccinated team members, yet they are still following protocols, the confidence in them visiting you will be much higher. Just like last summer, I think there will be a huge gush of people wanting to take holidays. A lot of my friends keep asking the same questions. When are your hotels opening? What the rate is going to be? Is it going to be safe? The same questions arise like they did same time last year. So it could be back. By what nature? I don't know. By what percentages? Very difficult to forecast. If the vaccination drive captures the numbers that the government has promised, which I'm very skeptical about, even if they can do 80% of that, I would believe that some kind of a continuous uptick, otherwise it's been bursts and, flattening out and, keep quarantining otherwise. A bit of a pattern could emerge maybe after October or November. And then if you're not struck with a third wave and a whole set of new complications, it'll be a very, very slow inching up graph that would help. It would probably start again with the close-by resort hotels, then the faraway locations. I think corporate travel, just like it did last year, which is the learning, will begin through the MSME, SME route in the tier 2, tier 3 cities, and then evolve into the larger cities. What is good, and I hope it remains, that larger companies have been announcing in the last couple of months that they would open their places of work and no longer homes, probably by September, October, albeit with reduced numbers. But that also shows a bit of an economic and a confidence bounce back if they decide to do that. So that's how I see it. My concern, as I voiced in many forums before, is our behavior even as custodians, whether it's our employees or ourselves, should remain constant and should remain strong, and we should not let our habits go down. Unfortunately, what happened, during the winter season, is that we all let our guards down and allowed our customers to do what they wanted, purely because I think the cash flow need was very high. I would only recommend and strongly advise everybody, please don't do that. By now we should have learned that the burst can hit us. I think we got a little overconfident because maybe nearby family members, nearby relatives did not get affected, so we let it go. Please don't let it go, and please do not allow your customers to let it go either. The less we go into containment zone and contained properties and have fears from the customer or caused by the customer, we will find some kind of equilibrium. But if this, just a desire to clean up very, very quickly as much as you can, I understand the difficulty. It's not an easy choice to make, but it's something that I think for a few more months we should, as an industry, commit ourselves into. If that happens, like I said, maybe September, October onwards. If that doesn't happen, we will all get hit again, a prime winter, hopefully, and life's going to be just as terrible as me. But I do see it, if behavior change cause confidence will cause business. The question amongst us is please, I exhort everybody, please limit yourselves and keep to the practices that are successful or are useful.
Optimist last year when Unlock 1 happened, and I continue to be an optimist as we get into Unlock 2 happening now. Just a couple of points. I think this time when we wake up, we're going to wake up to a very different world. You're going to wake up to a world where friends, colleagues, families are missing. You're going to wake up to a world where the misery which has been caused in the last 4 or 5 weeks is going to stay with us for a while. So this is a very different scenario compared to last year when the mishap happened. I also, going forward, actually see a new social order coming up. And harsh as this may sound, it has got to do, I feel, with an increase in suicides and an increase in nervous breakdowns. So I think the medical fraternity will have to not only tackle corona as a virus, you will have to tackle other forms of medical treatment, so to say. And I think all that is going to have an impact on us as society. Let's look at it honestly. Savings are now exhausted. Many businesses have folded up, jobs have gone, and the immediate family or friend support network is not there. So staying sane actually is going to be a huge exercise this time. How does that impact our industry? I would believe that in all of this, there is a different form of travel which is going to take place now. And I come from the small space. I am not a company which is as large as Ratan is or as what Girish is heading. So my perspective and my thinking is going to be related to the small space which I operate in. And I think the people who travel now will find solace in travel in different ways. Travel will no longer be that Punjabi sort of traveler to have chicken tikka and daru ki bottle. That segment will continue to some extent, but I think there is going to be a very different meaning to travel where people are wanting to find solace in travel. They want to find peace of mind in travel. So I see that huge shift taking place in the coming months where travel is actually now no longer only for travel. You would travel probably to meditate. You would travel probably to gain peace of mind. You would travel to be outdoors. Some would travel to do social work. And I think this is going to be huge because people have seen so much of misery. People have seen so many of have-nots now for the first time, which we knew about, which was hidden. And there is, in my opinion, not a guilt trip, but there is, I think, more and more generosity towards society now than it was a year back. And all these in some way is going to impact the whole nature of travel. I also see all of us or many of us taking solace in various religious forums, for example. So travel is going to change. Our phone has been ringing again at reservations for the last 3 days, and I had always maintained that by 9th or 10th of June, domestic leisure travel will come back, at least for brands like ours, who are small, who are outside city centers, who are large open spaces. That is what people are looking for. So we, in fact, Mussoorie Hotel, for example, next week is already sold out on 3 or 4 dates. Now, when I say sold out, I'm coming from a very small space of 17, 18 rooms. A chap who's got 80, 90 rooms will have a different experience, obviously. So I do see small properties coming back very quickly. I've always maintained that that is going to be the fashion of travel. I think the very difficult part will be for those people who are large hotels in the cities. They have a long wait to happen. And I also feel the inbound companies who dependent on the hotels who dependent on inbound travel, they are at least 12 to 16 months away to see any sanity. So yes, I continue to be bullish. I think we have to keep the wheel going. And yeah, like Ratan rightly said, you can't predict what's going to happen next. I'm not too concerned about the third wave. I think we're going to be much better prepared this time. 2 times we've been caught on the back foot. It'll be stupid of us in the government if we get caught the third time also. So all the nitty-gritties will be sort of taken care of. If the third wave hits, nobody knows what will happen. But I guess vaccinations would be done by then. We're going to be better prepared. So I am not honestly too worried about the third wave happening. I think we will scrape through that pretty easily.
But I think you sounded, you in a sense prepared the ground for Girish, because you talked about big hotels, and especially hotels which depend a lot on inbound travel. What is their future? Girish, the question to you is, what does a a big property like yours with many rooms do in a market where corporate travel is now bare minimum and where inbound travel is almost non-existent? How are you planning for the next 6 months, next 15 months? What are your long and short-term plans?
Well, I think the right space to be in is where Hemant is, because that's the true hotels that are going to really do well, these small and out of our cities. Well, let me tell you, we are doing 14 rooms, 16 rooms a day, which is pathetic. Now, what also happened in the cities is that a lot of these hotels became COVID care centers, and they were attached with hospitals. They did that last year too. But not a single guest came in. Not a single patient came into the hotels last year. Well, this year we had, in my hotel, we had 19 rooms occupied. I did 168 odd room nights, which is one of the highest in the city. But that's it. Because now for the last 10, 12 days, we are again lying absolutely vacant, because it goes up and then it drops. I'm very happy that everything is under control and the situation is handled and the pandemic is controlled. But I think the government needs to take a look at this a little more seriously, because what is happening to the hotels in the city is we have staff, we have air conditioning running, you have some fixed costs, which is a big threat to the stakeholders. I mean, like Ratan and Himmat said, we've lost people. That's bound to happen. I mean, and the flip side of the coin is you cannot even pay the stakeholders, because after all, the money has to be generated from somewhere. And I think moving forward, one just has to look at more and more options and create things like maybe, one is every small little asset today is looking at takeaways, deliveries. Where can you reach with that? I mean, a hotel of this size is 244 rooms with over 300 people sitting in the asset. It's very, very difficult. And in our city, in Delhi, there are at least 8 more hotels with over 450 rooms. How do you manage? So I think this whole thing has to be looked at very, very carefully, because I agree with Himmat when he says that inbound leisure tourism is minimum 10 months, 12 months away. I just hope and keep my fingers crossed that end of the year in the winter, things get better and we don't get hit the way we got hit the first and second wave, and things start happening. I have been speaking to a few overseas agents, and the second question they ask me is, Girish, your hotel was a COVID care center, was a hospital. They don't even know what it is. So, it's again a totally different thing. Now, first I have to get out of that and tell the whole world that I have taken all the precautions. I ensure that every internal customer of mine, that is my own people, is vaccinated, and also ensure that every guest that walks into my hotel must be vaccinated, must wear a mask. The weddings have come down from 50 packs to no weddings now. They made it 20 in churches and 20 in, Gurdwaras and things. So these things have to change. You have to just the government has to start thinking more about us. I think, unfortunately, the tourism industry has been treated like a stepchild, whether it's aviation, whether it's hospitality, whether it's DMCs. I mean, there's nothing that has happened. So I think we guys need to really get together and look and see, because I find no reason why a hotel which is outside Delhi, for example, these small assets, whether it's Surrey or it is Simla or it is Kasauli, they're all doing very well because people want to get out. And there are families also here which have 8 to 10 people in them, their brothers, and they would like to get out to assets like Himmat has, where there are only 15, 16 rooms, you have personal attention, there are not too many people involved there, safety is priority, and the best is that you can carry your pets there, pet friendly. I mean, what else do you need? These are the kind of things you need moving forward. So I don't know, as far as the big hotels go, I think we need to just reinvent the wheel and keep looking at different opportunities and options. But I'm also optimistic, and I always see a green light at the end of the tunnel. And hopefully I feel that if we can, get our hand on this and control with the vaccines, probably one should look at a better future moving into the winter and 22.
You are watching Travel World Online.